It's been a week since the implementation of the Cylinder Recirculation Model by the National Petroleum Authority. The initiative seeks to centralize the distribution and sale of LPG in the country for domestic consumption. It also allows consumers to exchange empty cylinders for a filled one at a specific location. It is running alongside the old system, and here to give some perspective, energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Suleiman, also CEO of energy consultancy firm Eureka Solutions. Good afternoon to you. What would it take for the cylinder recirculation model to succeed, do you think?
Yeah, thank you very much, Darrell. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you.
Okay, Dr.
I had the news. Yes, Darrell, can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze a bit. Carry on.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so thank you. So we've all heard the news that government has taken this giant step, to implement this program to the effect that, the cylinder recirculation is coming to stay. The implementation has started off a sort, though in preliminary stages. So what will it take for it to succeed? I think a couple of things. Number one, that it will require extensive stakeholder engagement, where all the parties that are involved, they have to know the role that they're going to play. And I think in this regard, NPA, they are doing creditable well. I think quite a week ago, they engaged some of the CSOs, which my organization was part of it. And I think yesterday also they managed to take, some of the guys around some of these facilities that is coming to some of these facilities that they are introducing into the value chain. And so it is important that these stakeholders understand, the dynamics of this cylinder recirculation. So if that is done and done well, I think that gives the chance for it to succeed. And number two, also, I think it should be able to close the inherent gaps that we have in the old system. Indeed, we do have some gap within the old system. And again, those gaps for me relates to issue of safety. I'm not very much comfortable with some of the outlets, especially the LPG refilling outlet. There are a lot of pertinent safety breaches that are pertaining there, which I always call like potential time bomb. And so if this policy is able to solve that, I think it will stand a chance to succeed. And finally, I believe it stands a chance to succeed if it doesn't lead to escalation of prices. Remember, we are introducing a lot of value stream into it. And so one may be asking who pays for this particular value stream. But I always think that, if you are introducing a policy and you are introducing value streams, if the value streams are able to generate enough profit, and then you can manage it such that you don't pass it entirely to the consumer or the end user, then that should be, it should stand a chance to succeed. Because the last thing we need is to have escalation of prices as a result of this policy. And I'm sure the regulator is quite aware of this, and they are also working around the clock, of course, to ensure that as much as, we champion this policy and we believe it could be an excellent policy if well implemented, we might be also mindful of this potential setbacks which could roadblock the policy. Darrell.
Well, you sort of touched on this a bit about this program closing the inherent safety gaps in the old model. How exactly? Yeah,
so if I talk about the inherent safety gap, Darrell, if you look at the industry, both the upstream and then the downstream, what we don't compromise is issue of safety. And if you understand the fire triangle, where we have three basic things that will come to play for any potential explosion to happen. We'll have the hydrocarbon single. So if all these things come together in the proportion, then we will have ignition happening. And that if you visit any fuel outlet, I'm referring to the LPG outlet, all these conditions are met. What's required is just a spark. And there's a lot of safety bridges that are pertaining, which we have sent a lot of recommendation to the regulator, and I'm hoping that they will swiftly implement them. Because I'm saying that because they plan to run this policy alongside the old model, which is an excellent thing, so that we'll be able to measure the efficiency of the old model and then the new model. And I can tell you that if the new model is efficient enough, consumers will rather just gravitate automatically. They don't need to wait for 3 years. So I just call on them to ensure that all potential safety breaches within the old model, which I just mentioned, the fact that if you look at the way they refill it, the potential source could be the car exhaust, and the cars are still coming, with the exhaust to fill within the proximity of the area, which is quite a dangerous thing. So what the policy will do is that I think, in my opinion, it will segregate the consumer interface with that hydrocarbon, because you just take your cylinder, you go and then pick it up. You are not in any way in direct contact with the filling outlet or the processing facility, in which case where the old model is. So if they are able to do that and streamline it well, and of course it could inherently reduce drastically these safety measures associated with the policy. And finally, those who have been in the industry, you will notice that safety affects four fundamental core areas. We have what we call PEAR, and we call it the P stands for people, E stands for environment, A stands for asset, and R stands for reputation. Among all this, if there's any safety breach, it impacts this rating. And you know that what is interesting is that the people is what is rated high. But at the end of the day, if there's a safety breach and there's a fallout, people can be replaced. Environment, they can do some mitigations. In terms of asset, they can easily replace it. But I tell you, reputation is very difficult. It could take many, many years. And that's what I want the businessmen and then the regulator also to put the mind on. Why safety is very paramount. We cannot champion the policy with safety breaches that would inherently result into maybe a potential explosion of high proportion that we cannot carry. But I believe that with this kind of measures that the government of Ghana through NPA is putting in place, a lot of this one should be able to be kept. And I think a lot of organizations, including Eureka, have sent through a lot of proposals regarding how this can be done and done smoothly. And I think the key thing is the engagement. And while they engage well, we should be able to solve these things.
But there's still outstanding concerns, right? For instance, we expected the LPG marketers to release a statement to the effect, they've raised some issues. Any other concerns you may want the NPA to address as it rolls out this program? Do we have you on?
The key concern is what I mentioned first. Yeah, I'm not sure whether they've done enough, sensitization. I think it's still ongoing. What I would urge them is to stay the course on the sensitization, and they should open up to all ideas of all manner of angles, because it's very important, especially those already in the chain. They have to engage and let them allay their fear. That's all. Because every single policy that is coming, there's that perception that it's going to knock off somebody within the chain. So it is left for the regulator to do, sensitize the people, sensitize the business partners and the existing players within the stream, that they are not going to lose their job, that is not going to impact them in negative in any way. So what I will urge is that it's good that the two policies are running concurrently, so that we can be able to assess the efficiency of the old model vis-a-vis the new model. And so I always say that if the new model is excellent enough, I think people will automatically transition to if the new model is good enough, people will automatically transition, without any compulsion of any sort. But I think stakeholder engagement is key, and I would just encourage the regulator to stay the course. What they have been doing is excellent, but they should stay the course and open up for all manner of engagement. They shouldn't get tired, because this is a nationwide policy that has to have high acceptance rate. If that is not done, I think it's going to be a huge problem.
Dr. Isi Sulemana, Energy Strategist, also Chief Executive Officer of Eureka Solutions and Energy Consultancy Firm. Thank you so much for your time.